Welcome to Life Expressions. I'm your host, Chari Hinete Elon. Of course, in this episode, we will share stories, insights about life, about service, and purpose. And this morning, I am glad to meet Farrah Jiwa, owner of Backs in Action, a multidisciplinary wellness clinic. Welcome to Life Expressions, Farrah.
Thank you so much.
I also have with me inspirational speaker and author Azim Jamal. Hi, Azim. Welcome back to Life Expressions.
Hi, Shari. Pleased to be here.
Farah, before we dive into purpose and service, I'd love to start at the beginning. Please take us through your journey from your time at Sick Kids to returning to Vancouver. Share with us how your life unfolded.
Well, that's a fantastic question. It brings back awesome memories. I graduated as a chiropractor in 2000. I had my own small little practice, but then I had this desire and urge to continue to learn, to grow, and to evolve. And that required, additional learning. So I ended up going to the Richard Ivey Business School for an MBA. After my MBA, had the opportunity to serve at the Hospital for Sick Children in the international development arm to help build a children's hospital in Qatar. So as part of that project, which was a very exciting project, got to meet wonderful world-class leaders. And then a miracle happened. I ended up getting pregnant, turned out to be twins.
Wow.
And that was another part of my life that was a pivotal moment that required me to shift and change. And it meant I could come back home to Vancouver. And miraculously, the small little business that I had as a chiropractor, the chiropractor that I sold it to was selling. And so I bought my business back. So I returned back to Vancouver in 2011 with twin girls in tow. So I returned back home and had the support of my family and was able to have a better work-life balance. And that was one of the key reasons why I returned back to practice, because I was still able to serve people, to make an impact, make a change, help people on their individual journeys, yet at the same time be able to nurture my own family and provide that mentorship and guidance that I saw was necessary as a mom.
Yeah. And so since 2011, you still have this business as chiropractor back in action?
Yes, it has evolved a little bit. It's grown into a 2,000 square foot practice, but yes, that footprint is still there.
And how has it been so far?
Oh, it's been wonderful meeting people of all different kinds of backgrounds in terms of health professionals to people in our community. Yeah, so no, it's been an awesome experience. I've had to evolve in my journey. As you may be aware, in 2017, I was diagnosed with glaucoma, which is a disease that results in irreversible blindness. It damages the optic nerve, and it's irreversible at the current time. There is no cure. And I unfortunately was diagnosed with that. And so that shifted and altered my perspective permanently, literally speaking. And so it's been an evolution, it's been a process of transformation and evolving.
Yeah. So, how did that moment challenge your sense of identity and purpose? You said it has shifted your focus and you have evolved.
Yeah, that's a very, very good question. It basically tore me apart. It broke me down into a million pieces. It is a silent thief of sight, but it also killed me from the inside out, because everything that I identified myself with, and I labeled myself as a chiropractor that did hands-on care, everything that I was, how I defined myself, and who I was doing, how I lived my entire being was shattered, because now I had to navigate the world with a very different perspective, with different lenses, with a different field of view. Like everything literally changed from how I perceived everything. Yet people, when they see me, they don't see me the way that I am. But I see people differently because my vision is altered. It's been shattered. And I put the world into all these different pieces because of the visual damage that has happened. And so that has required a lot of growth and adaptation. It's part of like the grieving process where you learn to go through the stages of grief, of loss. And now I'm at that stage of acceptance. When you accept this is the way life is, there's a reason and a purpose behind it. I need to create a life of meaning and purpose. And so while I was going through this journey, I literally was in a very, very dark place. It is when you're in the darkest of darkest spots that you see light. It's a real dichotomy of life that you do not know the power and significance of joy and happiness unless you've experienced sadness. And so I feel that by going through this journey of struggle, which I know every one of us has a different struggle in life, it challenges us. It offers us opportunities to ask those significant questions. Why me? Why am I here? What is my purpose? What value can I add? What change or impact do I want to leave in this world? And so I did all that reflection, introspection. I've written poetry. I've, done voice memos. So I've kind of shifted the way I document things and adapting. I've embraced accessibility tools, and I have had the support of my family all throughout this journey and the power of prayer and faith. And
Yeah.
those are all the things that have kind of brought me to where I am today, where I can say that I'm showing up today, I'm rising up, and I want to share my story with others so that those who are experiencing vision loss, because it's real, 2.2 billion people suffer in the world from some form of visual impairment. That's basically 1 in 4 people in the
Yeah.
world
Yeah.
have some sort of visual impact. And so it's significant. And with respect to glaucoma itself, it's about 80 million people. And that number is growing because people are living longer, more and more people are affected by it. So it's a significant disease. And when you look at retinal disease, which I also have, so I'm kind of have comorbidities, everything has targeted my ability to see acutely, like the accuracy and detail. There are close to 1 billion people who suffer from some form of visual impairment. And
That
so I
is
want
true.
to share my story with others so that they
Yeah.
can learn from it. And I think by sharing knowledge and information and sharing our stories, we empower others so they don't feel alone. That's really huge.
Yes. Farah, you're very brave, very strong, and you've got a powerful story. And it's very close to home because I have
Yes.
relatives, I have
Wow.
friends who are suffering from glaucoma as well. So trying to survive with vision loss. But it is good that you have found your purpose amidst the darkness and amidst this challenge. Azim, as you listen to Farah's journey, what stands out to you about her life and about her purpose being revealed through adversity?
For me, the best part about the story is through her struggle and her challenge, she found a purpose. People spend their whole life never finding the purpose. They die never finding their purpose. So in her difficulty, in her problem, there is this big foundation or big discovery of her purpose. And if she can center around that, and it's not easy to center around that, then her whole life changes because everything she does is not a victim, but a blessing. And I know Farah very well. We are close family friends. I've been with her since she was a young girl. I've known her journey, and it's not easy. She's got two beautiful young daughters, twins. She has to manage. She's managing the business. She's managing her health. She has a very supportive husband, and her father are very supportive. So there is that. But to be centered around that, it has been a blessing and a gift, not a
Yes.
burden.
Yes. Farah, you mentioned that you had to undergo difficulties, but something shifted, right? And you found your purpose. Now you are courageous to share your story and help others to be empowered. Please describe to us how you found that purpose and what made you brave enough to share your story.
Yeah, I think the highlight is that when you get to the darkest of darkest spots, when I was, living day by day, crying, feeling miserable, lost, helpless, filled with anxiety and fear. When you have fear of the unknown, of going blind and living in darkness, when you're so accustomed to the beauty that the world offers in terms of its colors, like I treasure all of that. And so you could end up sitting alone and contemplating all of the what ifs. And that's where that negative energy can take you, and it's a wave. It'll engulf you, it will trap you. But it's at those moments where I believe in a higher being and a higher force, and, I think that's where the power of family and prayer came in, where, I was sent angels who came as signs and, helped me along the way. That's when you need help. We have to realize that we're human beings, we're not meant to be living life on our own and independently. We are interconnected. We're a community. We are built to succeed and thrive in a community. We're here to help others. And once you're able to shed that and say, I am not weak for saying I need help. It's okay to get a ride from my mom or my dad to take me to the doctor's office. Leaning in and being able to take on that support. It's hard for a type A, independent career woman to feel dependent. It requires a huge shift. And I think it's when you are able to accept that and embrace that and, again, change the lens, change the perspective, view it as not a dependency, but a time to connect or support each other, that we all support each other in different ways. And that for me, it was realizing that yes, glaucoma is stealing my vision, but it cannot steal my spirit. It cannot steal who I am at my core. And of course, the biggest impetus was my children. I wanted to be a role model for them. Like, I wanted them to see their mother struggle, to rise up, to show up. I needed to be that example for them alone, that we do not give up, that our faith is one of resilience, it's of perseverance, that we must never give up. We have to find ways and solutions. And yes, it's not easy. It takes longer for me to do things, but we will find a different way of doing it. We have to use the intellect and our resources and seek the support that we need. And so I feel that I need to use my voice for advocacy, because being disabled does not mean that you are unable.
Yeah.
Just because you have a limitation, it doesn't have to stop you and limit you. Everything is possible. Nothing is impossible. We just have to find a different way of doing it, have our cheerleaders, get your support team together, seek out help if you need, and don't feel you're weaker for it. It just means you're stronger. It means I think that's a huge point in allowing one to rise, is realizing that it's not shameful, that I'm not lesser than,
Yes.
because that's a huge shift in perspective, right? And I think the more we can speak about it and talk about it and get rid of all the stigmas associated with challenges or the disabled, I think that becomes very empowering.
Totally agree with
So
that.
yeah, in that darkest moment where you have to there's this light that shines and then you follow that path, and it's small steps every day. So that's kind of the answer to your question, that you have to kind of just push yourself through. And yeah, there's going to be moments of sadness, and it's okay. I think we all have to feel pain and we all have to experience it.
Where do you find strength, Farah?
Ooh, from all those sources that I mentioned, I seek strength from within, from prayer through reflection and contemplation. I seek strength from my family, from role models around me like Azim and my father and other people of challenges, and how they are rising up and doing things and making a life of significance. It's from my faith. It's an anchor in the values that I'm taught that say, there is value, and
Yes.
I see value. I just have to see things differently.
Azim, Farah here mentioned, and you as well confirmed, that both of you are close and you provide support to her. For the people around her and for those who are listening who are experiencing the same circumstance, what would you say to them? How could they offer support?
Think, for people providing support to people like Farah, I think the first step is empathy, is to try to not belittle what is going on, because there's a huge, huge practical challenge of, operating as a CEO of a company, operating as a mother with two, children, and managing the family situation, financial situation, everything, right? So have empathy that you realize that it's not a small thing. It's a big thing, right? And then, of course, I look at the idea about happiness. Okay. I mean, I have some clients who are very successful, very wealthy, but happiness is not coming from what's outside you. It comes from what's inside you. Is that, if you look at the story of Napoleon Bonaparte, of the French emperor, he said before he died, he had lots of power, lots of money, beautiful wife, everything. But before he died, he said, I have not known 6 happy days in my life. Whereas Helen Keller, for most of her life, was blind, was deaf, was mute. And yet she said, my life was so wonderful when she passed away. So happiness is not what you have, it's what you are. So despite all your challenges in life, so if one realizes, yes, I'm going through a physical challenge, but my happiness is depending on who I am. And for Farah, the approach she's taken to use her ailment to now raise money for glaucoma and do things with Aga Khan University, it's a great calling, great purpose that she's turning a minus into a plus. And Shari, if you recall the Spark journey, service component is what she's doing now, is by doing that. She's found her purpose, which is amazing. Now she has to set an attraction, to set an affirmation. I can do it. This is my goal, and to affirm it regularly. And then she has to go through resilience. There will be challenges, hurdles, obstacles, downfall, where she has to maintain resilience. And finally, she has to have a zero doubt. It's a done deal. You walk it, you talk it, you breathe it, you sleep it. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So when you're able to help people with empathy, help them with their practical challenges, which are very real, and then give them this inspiration, and give them some systems and processes to apply, that becomes a habit. I think that will be a phenomenal outcome, because Farah is still at a level now, she's committed to doing this. She's made a partnership with a fantastic university, which is worldwide. Now, to come to reality will be a lot of activity impact, not activity trap, to focus her time in a way and to be more strategic and always keep her spirits high, because she'll go through up and down. She'll be brought down from practical challenges. That's where you need to be able to sustain and have a team around you of like-minded people who want to help you for the right cause.
Yeah, thank you for that, Azim. Farah, Azim here mentioned your purpose to advocate for raising funds for glaucoma research. Could you please tell us more about this?
Yes, absolutely. A huge, as we talk about life, it always has these, pivotal moments, right? Life altering events. Well, one of those was on my eye journey, which was in the year of 2023. In September 2023, I had a significant surgery that took place, which changed the trajectory of how I was living life. So up until that point, I was able to, depend on my one eye, which was the left eye. I was able to drive, I was able to read. So I was functioning, but, still had the fear because I'd lost so much vision in the right eye. So I've lost depth perception and peripheral vision. I was still able to do most activities of independence, which is driving and being able to read from a regular piece of paper. However, after that surgery, I had some sequelae, which had some impact on my retina. And to make the story short, it basically has taken away my ability to be able to drive and to be able to read. And it was a few months before my 50th birthday. So in January of 2024, when I turned 50, my father established a beautiful gift, which was the seed to this entire spark and service. And he has been instrumental in that. He established a seed foundation, a fund, in partnership with the Aga Khan University in Pakistan, which is internationally accredited, one of the leaders when it comes to health and medical research and scientific research, to help. It's called the Eye Innovation Fund, to help find a cure eventually for diseases such as glaucoma and retinal-related diseases such as macular degeneration, diabetic retinopathy, retinitis pigmentosa. So a variety of conditions where right now we don't have a cure for, which are related to the retina, which has cells which once they're damaged, you cannot replace, and the optic nerve, which is related to glaucoma. Once that's damaged, you've lost that information. So it's like the big cord that goes from your eye to your brain. Those signals are lost. And so this research is cutting edge. It's the next game changer for the trajectory of eye and vision loss. It has a positive impact for a huge population in the world and has huge significance. So I want to help raise awareness around this fund, to help raise money. And along that lines is to educate, to advocate, and to share my experiences and my learnings to help others and prevent vision loss for others, because there's many things I've learned along my journey that can be applicable, that can help slow down the progression, early detection, various other components of the journey that I wish to share with others so that other people have a much more positive outcome.
Yeah. Do you know how much you would want to raise for this?
I believe it's limitless. We should never put a limit to that. If you look at just numbers itself, if there's 2.2 billion people who suffer from some vision loss, imagine if every person just donated $1, we'd already have 2.2 billion. So, I think the idea here is let's plant the seed, let's make this plant flower, and I want to build gardens. I want to just create that spark to just cascade worldwide, to educate people, to create that empathy from others. So when someone says, I have glaucoma or I have vision loss, they don't become invisible to the other, that they get seen, that they get validated, that they get heard.
And if they would want to support this cause, how
Yes,
and where could they get in touch with you or the foundation?
absolutely. That's a great question. So there's a link that goes directly to the Aga Khan University. If you are donating from Canada, the United States, or United Kingdom, there are specific portals that you can go through and get a tax receipt, which is also, a wonderful thing. You can send a check to the Aga Khan University and indicate that it's for the Eye Innovation Fund. I am in the process of creating a platform, a landing page for myself eventually that I can house all this information. However, I will share that link with you so you can have it on your podcast and share it with those who are interested.
It's wonderful. Thank you so much, Farah. I hear so much passion and purpose from Farah when she talks about this. Azim, through your work on Spark, right? Service, purpose, attraction, resilience, and knowing. Do you see this all being practiced through Farah?
Because I know Farah from her young age, she always wanted to be a speaker, a debater, a coach, and she never did it. She found one excuse after the other, after the other, after the other. This is now causing her to actually practice what she wanted to do. So in her struggle and her challenge, the guts and the stamina and the energy has come to do what she always wanted to do. She was an amazing debater, amazing speaker, but she had she had to look at financial needs and be practical, but she never was able to use her gift. So, through this challenge, the gift has become right. And now she's at her peak. Okay, and now she's practicing service, which is the S of service, the spark ignition. Yeah, the spark ignites with service. She's then found a purpose, which is her ultimate purpose credo, the life. I think she has to work on her attraction in terms of affirmations because, I'm part of her journey and I see sometimes she's at the peak and sometimes she goes through a struggle. And that's where she needs to remind herself with affirmations and then allow her activity, time management, energy management, self-management, team management to be able to align to the affirmation and then accept challenges, big challenges. And the bigger the challenge, as she mentioned herself, the biggest the darkness, the biggest the light, right? So she has to go through resilience and then the knowing, the zero doubt. Right now, she's not at a zero doubt. I mean, there is, of course, it's a struggle, it's a beginning, but she has to have a zero doubt and she has to walk it, talk it, breathe it, sleep it. And today's podcast is an attraction. a similar
Yes.
reflection that is now a seed. And even to do this, it was not easy because she's
No.
a perfectionist. She wants to do everything perfect. And you have to push her and push her and push her to go for it. It's never going to be perfect. There's a perfection in imperfection. So
Yes.
Spark is a journey. Spark is not, and as we always talk about, the biggest room in the world is room for improvement for Farah, for Shari, for Azim, for everybody, right? So there will be that journey. But once she has put herself out, everybody will align. I mean, Aga Khan University is a very powerful collaborative.
Yes.
As far as there is a unstoppable human being. I mean, he'll go and go and go. He's had health challenges, but he'll keep going because he has a purpose. And he wants to leave his purpose to his daughter, which is amazing. So I think overall, I think it's a powerful story of Spark.
Yes, that's wonderful, Azim. Farah, your purpose has expanded from serving your family, your children, to serving that visually challenged community.
Yeah,
What
it's a
call?
very exciting
Yes,
time.
yes. And so, what ignites your spark right now?
All of this, the idea for the opportunity that it's endless opportunities out there, that it takes each step with braveness and courage. And it reminds me of an analogy that really speaks very deeply to me, and it's the butterfly. And that was another gift my parents gave me, is this beautiful portrait that I have of butterflies. It's a collage of them. And it's very, very symbolic of this journey of my life, of many people's lives, where we are caterpillars, we end up crawling into our cocoon, and we as individuals alone have to break that cocoon if we want to be able to spread our wings and fly. And this is what this journey is. I have rebirthed myself, recreated a new version of me so many times, and that's why it's a collage of butterflies. I'm not one butterfly. Every day it's a renewal, a rebirth, a new beginning. And that's how I see it, that I have to recreate, renew, and create a new version of Farah, and hopefully a better one each day. And that's the impetus and purpose, that we just live life to our fullest capacity, in our fullest potential, and we keep spreading our wings.
Yes, amazing. There's metamorphosis, there's transformation, a beautiful transformation. And once you're transformed, that's not the end of it, right? If there's life, there's always ways and time to transform as often as you want or as often as you need.
Yeah.
Azim, what do you say to this power of transformation that Farah has embraced for herself?
I think it's a gift from God, a big gift from God, and it's very inspiring, very uplifting, and very transformational. I would still raise one question here, that the power of resilience is required, because it's easy to talk, to say, but expect challenges, hurdles, obstacles, and look at them as a blessing. Because the bigger the struggle, the bigger the opportunity. The more faith is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. So you got to keep going. And when you show that belief, that no conviction, not belief, conviction, the zero doubt, I think that would happen. So I think that's the path I would recommend. Farah is a great example, but all the others who are doing similar kind of work, who Farah is going to be an inspiration to realize it's not going to be a piece of cake. It's going to be, and the struggle is required. And Shari, you shared this before. When I changed my career, I had to speak 185 times, made zero money, traveled the world. Next year, 187 times, traveled the world, made zero money. I wrote a first book, 10,000 hours. I couldn't put a book in the bookstore, but I would do it again because everything that I went through made me better at what I do. So
Yes.
when you realize that and have that, then I think you can transform it. If you don't realize that, and if you give up, which is easy to do so, I have total faith that Farah will not give up. She will go all the way. But I'm just cautioning that it won't be a piece of cake, and one has to keep going, and everybody has to support the whole cause. And everybody out there who's trying to do something like Farah would have to have the same kind of stamina, right, to go through.
Yes.
Yes, resilience, that is important. When the going gets tough, the tough gets going. And
Yes.
we should know that challenges come our way at the most unexpected times when we think that everything is going great already, and then the challenge hits us. The way we rise from those challenges truly define us, right? And
Absolutely.
yes, Farah, there's many others who are undergoing the same experience as you. What would you say to that person who would like to step up but doesn't know where to begin?
Yeah, I think, finding your people, and your people start with your home and being able to share that this is what your needs are or you need assistance with, but also seek external sources of support that are similar to you. So I would give the example of CNIB, the Canadian National Institute for the Blind, low vision rehab. Those were all areas where I avoided, to be really honest, in the beginning of my journey because it was very, very painful for me. And it caused so much anxiety just to have that appointment and be told that, okay, you have this magnifier or you have to try to use voiceover. And it made me feel, yeah, I wasn't ready. So I think it's about embracing it. You have to go through the journey. It's going to take some time. Be kind to yourself, have self-compassion. Take it one step at a time. Even if you learn something small every day, that is powerful. And with technology the way it is, I think it's becoming easier, to be honest. Like, I'm so proud to say that I know a lot of technological tools more than some other members of my family. It's because I've embraced it, because it
Yes,
allows to facilitate my life. Like, everybody loves Siri, voice dictation. These are tools that regular high performing people use. It
exactly.
came from the visually impaired, the visually challenged, because they learned how to adapt to all that. So I think there's lots to champion and to realize that your life may seem limited, restricted, difficult. You will adapt because the human nature is such that we do adapt. And we have to remind ourselves that every day is a choice.
Yes,
You get to choose, do I want to live a miserable, lonely life? Because people will be around for a little while, then they will get tired of you. The same story, nothing's working for her, let her be. But you choose to say, no, I want to make today the best day possible. Because ultimately, all of us, regardless of whether you have a condition or not a condition, we don't know when it's our last breath.
that is so
So we
true.
have to take the choice to live to the fullest.
Yeah, and what's the beauty of life is that we have the power of choice.
Yes.
Azim, for anyone facing a life altering challenge like Farah, what would you want them to hold on to as they rediscover their purpose?
I think the foundation is your purpose, right? What if this is my purpose? Then this is my duty to fulfill this purpose. And if my life is going to be defined by that, I should not waver from that. But translating to Farah's family, Farah's journey, I was writing some notes here. I think the biggest strength she has is from her father and also her husband and her family, her kids, because they are very supportive. That's a huge blessing. And usually, when you have this kind of situation, you will have people around you to support it. That's number one. Number two is collaboration. She gave a simple example: 2.2 billion people. If each one gave $1, you would have $2.2 billion. So collaborating with other
Agree.
people, other organizations, other foundations, other this, there is no one man army. Trump is finding out now there's no one man army, right? So you have to collaborate with people to form that kind of power, right? Because and the final point is, especially for Farah, because I know her, do not seek perfection. Because perfection is going to be the biggest obstacle in your journey. Because every time you're going to slow down, just do it. Just do it. Look,
Yes,
there's a poem by, there's a saying by Kabir, who was a poet, and he says, Kal hua so aaj hua so ab. It's a Hindi saying, right? Kal means what you can do tomorrow, do it today. What you can do today, do it now. Just do it now. Just do it now. Just do it now. And when you start doing that, things start to happen. So everybody out there who's trying to follow Farah's journey, have the support of the family, the nearest family, your spouse, your
Yes.
parents, children. Very, very important. Secondly, collaborate with each one and everyone. Don't try to be a one-man show. You will die in a one-man show. And thirdly, do not seek perfection because there is perfection in imperfection. So in your imperfection, there is perfection, and that's the power of moving forward.
Can I
thank you.
add one thing?
Of
I think
course.
what I've learned so much as well is by sharing the story, you ignite sparks because people end up then realizing, I'm not alone, and they share their story, and they'll share their connections and networks. So I must say that that is such a powerful thing. Planting the seed at Aga Khan University is created such a strong impetus. They are now partnered with Johns Hopkins University. So these are world-class institutions furthering stem cell research. I mean, that is powerful. And the more we can raise awareness around it and we contribute to that, it's going to be like a domino effect. There's going to be power. And it's in the sharing of the story. It's being vulnerable. It's about seeking help where it's needed. So anyone who is on that journey, advocate for yourself at your doctor's office, with your family, use your voice, share your story, and feel stronger for it because there is power in that.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much, Farrah. As we
Yes.
bring this conversation to a close, I'd like to ask both of you, as you are in this journey for Farrah first, what will you say to yourself to keep you going without seeking perfection, just doing it amidst the challenges and amidst the uncertainty? What would you say to yourself?
I'm going to first say thank you to God for blessing me with this opportunity to be surrounded by cheerleaders and a wonderful family, and to give me the strength and the courage to continue to rise. That I am brave and I am strong if I have all those components together.
Yes, yes, you are. It is great that you are thankful and you have that gratitude in you, and that will keep you going too. Azim,
Yeah, for
any
me,
final words?
it's a privilege and a pleasure to be involved in such a journey, especially with Farah, because I have the highest respect for her family. Her father and me served together in the community very closely. When my wife came here from India, Farah's mother became her sister, and so we have a very close connection. And to be part of that journey in a very small or whatever format it may be, it is a great privilege. And that's this part of the journey. And Shari, you're part of it too by springboarding
Yes.
this journey with this podcast. So thank you.
Thank you.
I have to
Thank
thank
you.
both of you for this opportunity because if it were not for either of you, I wouldn't be here sharing my story. So huge kudos to both of you.
Thank you, Farah, and I'm very much honored to share this platform with you. Your story is inspiring, it's moving, and I truly hope that we can move people to support your advocacy. And so, if they would want to know more, which link they will click, I will definitely share it here on the description of the podcast. Any final words from you, Farah?
No, just everyone, just do your best and show up and live your best life. You got this.
Exactly. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us here on Live Expressions. Azim and Farah, thank you so much. To all of you, if you like this episode, please share it with your friends. Hit that subscribe button of Live Expressions so that you'll be notified each time we have a new episode. Please comment if you have a question, if you want to know more, and if there's a topic that you would want us to discuss. Don't hesitate to reach out to Live Expressions. I'm your host, Chari Hineta Elon. Don't forget, be a positive impact wherever you are, in all that you do, however you can. This is Life Expressions.